obsessed. All right, let's just dive right on in. Both of these stories are from Reality Blurb. Let's start with Lala responding to being called mean. So Lala Kent is fighting back against claims of being all over the place and mean. After gossiping about Raquel's drunken antics with Katie and Christina on the latest episode of Vanderpump Rules and later slamming her as a liability, Lala responded to a podcast host who suggested she was acting out in response to her custody drama with ex-fiance Randall Emmett, which hasn't yet been much of a storyline on season 10. Lala is all over the place. Ryan Bailey, host of So Bad It's Good, wrote on Instagram on March 16th. Bywig Hello Drama mentioned that Lala is still mad at Randall and that anger is potentially coming out in other places. I personally wish we would get more of that storyline of the Randall of it all. It just would add more context of what Lala is actually going through during that time in filming and why she punches down a lot. Also, he added, Raquel turned out to be awful, but if this information hadn't dropped yet, it would have painted Raquel as a complete underdog you root for instead of the creep she turned out to be. Following the post, Lala shared an Instagram story in which she included Ryan's message and asked, why do you have to keep schooling people on life? She then highlighted 4 points. Number 1, my situation is delicate and there are legal aspects involved. Although I shared it all, who knows what will be put in this season. I do know one day everything that I'm dealing with behind the scenes will be revealed, Lala wrote. I'm going to say this. I agree with Lala on this because number 1, the Tom Sandoval and Ariana and Raquel versus Scandal versus Randall and Lala situation are apples to oranges. You can't compare the two. When it comes to like the scandal of it all, I'm not talking about cheating, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not talking about that because Lala is in a custody battle for her child. And I think the moment you have a child, not just a child, but like an infant, I think Ocean just turned like 2. When you have a toddler, when you have a child, and you are fighting for the custody of your child, that kind of trumps the BS we're talking about when it comes to Tom Sandoval having a midlife crisis and having sex with anything that will allow him to, and Raquel being a weirdo narcissist, egotistical person. And I'm not dismissing Ariana's pain because I feel for her and I want her to heal and just come out on top and swinging on it. But it is a different situation when you are fighting for custody for your child. It's also a different situation when the person you're fighting, he may be a fraudster, but he still has friends in high places. He still has access to a lot of money. He still is very influential and powerful in certain circles. And when he has been accused of doing things inappropriately with, children or minors, it's a very different situation. So it confuses me how other people are like, oh, Lala this and Randall, and you're mad about this. It's apples to oranges. We can get up here and kiki about who Tom is sleeping with and who Raquel is doing that and da 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 da. But when there's a child on the line, it's apples to oranges. And also, Lala was being very transparent. She talked about the LA Times article. She talked about, going through the custody battle and how it was like we need to have teams. And she had all that. She talked a lot about it, actually. And Lisa Vanderpump also was just like, well, how did you not know what was going on? She kind of pushed her on that. And she turned on the waterworks and started crying and everything. So she has brought it to the show. I just think that once Sandoval dropped, it overshadowed everything, right? But prior to that, there was things where she was talking about the LA Times article that was very disparaging with Randall. Very disparaging, So I get that. I get where she's coming. Let's keep going. She goes to number 2. You can say all day long, if this never happened with Sandoval, Lala would look mean. Some of you act so brand new to me. You know the drill by now. I've never liked Raquel. She's always triggered me. Now we know why. Now we know why it's a big if, y'all, she continued. Agreed. it's not like she started to not like Raquel after this. Lala and Raquel have never been friends. They've always had a beef. Let's keep going. And point number 3, Lala acknowledged that she, like Raquel, has made questionable decisions while drunk. However, unlike Raquel, she was now sober. I made decisions I'm not proud of, things that I wouldn't have happened had I been clear and sober. It's not an excuse, it's fact. And unless you struggle with addiction, you won't understand. Nor does your opinion have any place on this conversation, Lala explained. Number 4, my words are intense. I got that, she went on. Things I say at times are completely out of pocket. However, words are words. I'm about actions. Raquel was full of friendly words. Her actions, not so much. In another screenshot shared by a Pump Rules fan page on Instagram, Ryan's entire post was revealed, including a message he shared on Twitter about Katie having more of a right to be upset with Raquel. Katie was completely justified in her feelings for Raquel because she admittedly was trying to make out with Schwartz. Now, Lala, on the other hand, just came off really mean, saying no one has ever tried to steal Randall, he wrote. Throughout Wednesday's episode, Lala expressed her disgust in Raquel, telling her it was a good thing she didn't have a man to steal. As she explained, the comment was not only offensive to women, but it was downright wrong. Oof, this is the thing. Again, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I see more of Lala's perspective on this than I do of this person's, because I don't think that the actual crux of the argument is that Raquel or any woman was trying to steal Randall, and so Katie has more of a right to be mad because Raquel was trying to kiss Tom Schwartz. That wasn't really the point. The point was more of, it's not okay to shame a woman for not having, quote, a man. You know, almost like you're not good enough, you're not valuable, you're not worthy because you're alone, because you've been broken up with, because you don't have a relationship, because you don't have a man. That was really more of what the problem was with Raquel's statement. Well, at least you don't have a man to steal. That was really more of what the problem was, not actually specifically Randall versus Tom Schwartz. So to me, I'm kind of like, when they're saying it was offensive to women in general, that's really what they were talking about. And to be honest, I think it really was offensive. You know, at least you don't have a man to steal. It goes back to those societal tropes, those societal stereotypes that a woman is only as valuable as the man who chooses her, right? If she has a man, if she can keep a man, right? So that's really more of what they were talking about in this situation. So when it comes down to this, I don't know. I'm much more team Lala. I think she had much more valid points than what this person was trying to say. But that's just me. And I obviously want to know what you guys think of the situation. Also, I think it comes down to, and people are like, oh, Lala's being such a hypocrite. She made out with James, this, that, and the third. Again, this might be an unpopular opinion. Do I think what Lala and James did was wrong? Yes, 100%. If you're in a relationship with someone, if you're seeing with someone, cheating anytime is wrong. I get it, 100% not cool. I also think the only reason why Lala said something was because she kind of wanted to do a dig at Raquel. You know, you went 6 years without saying anything. You probably could have went another 6 years without saying anything. I think she wanted more of a storyline. I think she wanted drama. I think she wanted to do a little dig at Raquel. You know, I think at this point, at least up until Sandoval broke, I think everybody on that show was windmilling for their job. Sheena was windmilling for her job with the whole Tom Schwartz, Raquel, Katie situation. Lala was windmilling for her job. I hooked up with James and going against Raquel and blah, blah. Everybody was windmilling for their job. So I'm not saying that what she did was right. No. But I don't think you can compare what Lala and James did to versus what Raquel and Tom Sandoval did to Ariana. I get it's wrong. I get it's cheating. I get it's not okay. But there's something just more inherently diabolical with the way Sandoval and Raquel carried on in the situation. And it's also like 6 years ago, a bunch of drunken kids having sex with a very brand new relationship versus, a 40-year-old man having sex with a 28-year-old when he's in a almost 10-year relationship with someone and they own a $2 million house and they have businesses together. It just kind of like we also have to sort of give people the allowance of being human beings, because every person on this planet, we've done some stuff that we're probably not proud of, but yet we're still allowed to have an opinion. We're still allowed to call people out. We're still allowed to say that's not cool. If the barometer for having an opinion on a situation was you have to be a perfect, immaculate human being who has never sinned, then nobody could ever have an opinion on anything. That's kind of how I feel on that one. We've all done stuff. So let's call a thing a thing. All right, now let's move on to the next one. With this one, Lala can't cause Raquel obsessed, slams Sandoval as disgusting for not safe for work video, and says he got off on creeping as lawyer talks restraining order drama. So this is from her weighing in on Heather McDonald's podcast. Ahead of next week's reunion taping, the Vanderpump Rules cast member lashed out at Sandoval and Raquel, shading Raquel as an obsessed groupie, reacting to Sandoval's not safe for video, and all of that. She says, I think Tom was getting off on creeping around, and I think Raquel was fueling his ego with a narcissistic love. Lala shared on the March 16th episode of Juicy Scoop via Us Weekly. She was a full groupie. She was obsessed. I agree with that. I think Raquel was like, how can I trade up? James doesn't have the money I thought or the clout I thought. I've used him as much as I can. How can I trade up? And in her little mind, she thought trading up was Tom Sandoval. I also think Tom Sandoval got off not just on Raquel, but I think he also got off on betraying James. I think that Tom is a little jealous of James. And you might be like, well, why? Well, I'll tell you. I do think that Tom is jealous that James is younger than him. I think he's jealous that James is more, in my personal opinion, I think James is more attractive. I'm not really attracted to any of these dudes like that, but I think that James is more attractive than Tom is. I think that he was jealous that James was living his dream, being a DJ, his See You Next Tuesdays, he's DJing everywhere. And and he gets paid to DJ, where we see Tom turn 40 and started paying people to play with him, Tom Sandoval and the most extras. And I'm not trying to age shame or anything like that. Like, trust me, I'm not. What I'm saying is, though, just human societal, there is a thing called a midlife crisis for a reason. He's paying people to play in his band and to play these gigs, trying to live out a dream he's had. And again, I'm not shaming. I think you could be 16, 36, or 66. If you have a dream, go out and get it, 100%. I don't care how old you are, go out and do you. I'm talking specifically about Tom Sandoval. I think that he's wanted to have this sort of like, he wanted to be an actor. He wants to be a rock star. And he's only kind of lived that out through the reality show. Do you know what I mean? But then you see James, who is, sampling with people and having his See You Next Tuesdays, and has really sort of blossomed into that, the white Kanye West weird crap or whatever the heck he said. You know what I mean? James doing the absolute most. But he's living out that dream. So I do think that there was a part of, and also don't forget, James did betray Tom Sandoval by sleeping with Kristen, because Tom and James were friends first. Then James had sex with Kristen, and then James and Kristen started dating, right? And I don't think that Tom Sandoval ever got over that. I think people like Tom Sandoval, when you bruise their ego, it may take a month, it might take a year, it might take a decade. They're going to pay you back. They're going to get revenge on you. they're going to stick it to you. And I think that Tom Sandoval was playing the long con when it came to getting James back. Do you know what I mean? I think a part of paying the 12K he paid for, Coachella, Raquel, whatever the hell they called it, whatever stupid name it was, and gave him the money for the whole proposal, and then being like, nah, dude, you don't have to pay me back. I got it. I think a part of that was feeding his ego. When it comes to guys' ego, I paid for you to do this for your girl. You don't have to pay me back. I'm the one with the money, this, that, and the third. Money and men's ego go hand in hand. I think it was a way for him to dig at James. So the entire time he's giving him this money, nah, dude, I got you. But the entire time he's either having an emotional affair with his girl or he's already smashing her. Because we all know this started a very long time ago. Very long time ago. It's pretty clear that they have been in this affair for a very long time. Whether emotionally or they were actually having sex. But it's obvious, right? So that's also very evil and diabolical. Do you see what I'm saying? So I do think that Tom Sandoval wasn't just getting off on the fact that Raquel was obsessed with him. I think he was getting off on the fact that he was really sticking it to James, the younger, more attractive, in doing music, slept with your ex-girlfriend right behind your back, James, right? I do think there's a part of that. And that's why I don't really go after Lala so much when she goes after Raquel, because also I don't think that Lala is going after Raquel because of her closeness to Ariana. I think Lala is going after Raquel because of her closeness to James. Because I think we focus so much on Ariana, as we should. But I think we forget that James is also a human being. And I think that he is also really hurting. And sure, they had been broken up. Sure, he's in a new relationship. But as a human being, that still hurts on some type of level that you don't know if the person you were engaged to, the person you were with for 5 years, were they cheating on you when you were engaged? Is that why they broke up the engagement? Were they having sex with somebody that you consider your best friend? So not only did Tom Sandoval betray him, but Raquel did too. You don't have to be in a relationship with someone for them to betray you, for them to play you, for them to humiliate you, right? So I feel bad for James too. And James, if you ever hear this, do not propose to Allie because you're going through something. Please maybe just take a pause on dating anybody and really focus on your sobriety and focus on getting your mind right, focus on your own codependency issues. Because the answer to this is not getting engaged to somebody else. You already did that, remember? 3 weeks after you break off an engagement to somebody you've been with for 5 years, you move another woman in, and now you want to propose. You might want to pump the brakes, homie. Like, you just might want to pump the brakes because you too are going through something. You too was betrayed by your best friend. You too was proposed by someone that you loved, Raquel. So I think Lala goes so hard. I also think that Lala has feelings for James. That's not just friendship. I think Lala and James might be endgame. By endgame, I mean once they're done trying to, hustle up and get this money, whether it's reality TV, whether it's doing whatever, whether it's, whatever the case may be, I wouldn't be surprised if like in 10 years, 5 years, they're the ones who end up together. Because I do think that they have a deep love for each other. But like James has always said, if he was more powerful, if he had more money, if he had more influence, Lala would choose him. But I think Lala was very clear that she's choosing the person with the money and the power and the influence, Randall. And then she got the okie doke when it turns out he was nothing but a big fake, phony, fraud predator, like a lot of people out here, right? Unfortunately. 50 Cent called him, the little Harvey Weinstein with less power, money, and influence, right? Oof, 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 oof. So yeah, you guys, that's a lot. But that's what I think. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. What do you think about Lala clapping back and being like, listen, I'm not the mean girl in this situation, okay? I may have done some stuff, but this is what this is. This is what the situation is. You know, put it down below, okay? Put it down below. Also, I want to know what you guys think just in general. What do you think about James and Lala's relationship? What do you think about James and Allie's relationship? You know, what do you think about Tom? I think a big part of the reason why Tom went so deep with Raquel was to do a big F you to James. And Raquel, with her ding dong head, doesn't even get that. Raquel is drinking her own Kool-Aid. And Tom Sandoval is playing the hell out of her. But she's not innocent and she's not a victim. You see what I'm saying? So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. But stick around my candy cans because we got some more stories. We got some more stories coming up, okay? But before we do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a key is always better with community. And check out our description box down below and join our newsletter, you guys. You get free self-care and wellness content delivered straight to your inbox. So with that, let's move on to our next story. Now, Katie Maloney wants to literally set the world on fire. She is not having it. And this is the thing. I know Katie's personality, Tequila Katie.